Peace and blessings. As usual, I pray that this message greets you in the best of health, that you are experiencing a state of internal and external peace. So today's video is actually the first in a series of videos that mirror multiple conversations that I'm having both in my practice and within larger communities and within myself. And the word that I want to share with you, that I've been sharing in all these spaces, is the word dignity. And when you hear me speak that word dignity, just sit for a minute and think about what that word conjures up for you. What images come up in your mind? What does it remind you of? Are you reminded of a person that you know who exuded dignity? Are you reminded of yourself? Do you feel dignified? Are you reminded of a time when you lost your dignity or thought you lost your dignity? And are you reminded of a time when you brought it back? So how does all of this talk around dignity relate to the concept of peace building and being in relationship? That's a really good question. So some of what I'm going to share with you is based on the research of Donna Hicks, a woman who is a peace builder, who created a model for dignity that she has taught across the globe and has used in many communities in which she's worked. So Donna Hicks, Dr. Hicks, defines dignity, and I'm going to read it so that I get it right, as an internal state of peace that comes with the recognition and acceptance of the value and vulnerability of all living things. Now hold that word again. And what that means, it's not just about how you value other people, it's also how you value yourself. And I want to remind you of something. Dignity is inherent. We are born dignified human beings. And while we may engage in activities that pull us away from our dignity, that is always our choice. And Dr. Hicks herself, the expert on dignity, was reminded of this when she shared her work with Archbishop Desmond Tutu in South Africa. And he read her book and he was like, you missed the part. She's like, what part did I miss? Well, go back and read Nelson Mandela's autobiography. And on page such and such in his book, he speaks about how no matter what was done to him on Robben Island when he was incarcerated for 27 years, no matter what was done to him, he never lost his dignity. And when I heard Dr. Hicks say that, I traveled back 20 years back in time to when I first saw Nelson Mandela and his wife Winnie, right after he had been released from prison and he wasn't president yet. And I remember looking up at that stage and being completely overwhelmed by the dignity of that couple, knowing what they had experienced, knowing the trauma, knowing the war that they had fought for decades. And to show up on that stage, both in Harlem and in the Bronx, that day, I saw what dignity looked like. And since that day, I have witnessed it 1,000 times. And so just for today, no matter what's happening in your life, I want you to think about how you hold on to your own dignity. Each day or every couple of days, I'm going to talk some more about this concept. I'm going to define dignity more deeply. And then later, I'm going to talk about the many, many ways in which we actively participate in unraveling our own dignity. But just for today, I want you to hold an image, like the image that I'm holding of Nelson and Winnie, of dignified people who stand in the face of trauma, knowing that no matter what is taken from you, no one can take your dignity. No matter what has been done to you, no one can take your dignity. So take a deep breath. Walk a little taller on the inner and the outer. Embrace your dignity. Embrace your value. Embrace the endless possibilities of love, renewal, peace, and health that is abundantly available to you. I wish you a glorious, dignified day. Peace and blessings.